In your opinion, what is the most evil company? Nestle. Union Carbide. Murdered like the entire town of Bhopal, India. Bayer. They knowingly sold HIV-contaminated blood products to Asian and Latin American countries, infecting potentially thousands of hemophiliacs. They had developed a new heat-treated version of the product for distribution in the US, but didn't want to let the old contaminated stuff go to waste and lose out on the profits. Also, they did medical experiments on Jews and other concentration camp prisoners during the Holocaust. People always go for Nestle, but holy moly, read into BP makes Nestle seem like a saint. Nestle. The Pinkertons. It's hard to decide if Walmart intentionally ruining lives with greed is better than an oil company intentionally ruining lives with greed, but to be so spineless that you make it your business to enforce the sadistic greed of others, that's a whole different kind of evil. Fascists for hire. Any that exploit humans, especially children. Also whatever ones are tearing down the rainforest in Borneo for resources. Purdue Pharma started the opioid epidemic. BlackRock, because of its size, reach, control of politicians. Once any corp gets to a certain size, has enough cash, it controls government, particularly in the US where elections are dominated by fundraising spending. Nestle. Weyland-Yutani. Do anything they don't want you to do, and it's total forfeiture of shares. Wagner Group. BP, Exxon. They know what they are doing. Bayer. Inventing heroin would probably have been enough, but the shit they did in concentration camps during the Holocaust was next-level evil. Can't believe that nobody has mentioned Tyson Foods. Since this doesn't specify this has to be US-based, there are African continental and Middle Eastern-based PMCs that literally coordinate for human trafficking. Their names change constantly, but essentially mercenaries and bandits for hire. Nobody really knows them, but one of the most vicious goons on this list gotta be Foster Farms. They have endangered their consumers numerous times with salmonella outbreaks, and they don't properly secure their supply trucks, which has led to the deaths of drivers as well as hundreds of chickens in the back. They're fucking horrible, and it sucks they aren't getting as much negative attention as they should be. Ticketmaster. DuPont. Gazprom. Literally killing the planet is their day-to-day operation. Occasionally they're involved in wars, genocide, money laundering, drug cartels, weapons smuggling, and being an old-fashioned crime syndicate. The Mormon Church. It's just an MLM with massive political influence, disguised as a religion. Shell. Nobody talking about Tencent is super creepy. I hope it's just because nobody knows them. I heard Nestle's CEO wanted to privatize water. Sounds like supervillain origin story material to me. Monsanto. What Nestle is to water, Monsanto is to food. Shine. Produces a lot of clothes in very not eco-friendly way. For example, they use a lot for chemicals and waste a lot of water, and they produce clothes in Bangladesh. I heard that their people work almost every day on month couple hours, in not safe places for a very poor amount of money. Maybe children too. BlackRock. Meta, Facebook. Nestle by a long shot. Pfizer. McKinsey. BlackRock. Do you classify the Catholic Church as a company? Nestle. DuPont. BlackRock. Honest, though there's at least 100 that pretty evil. Monsanto Chemical and Seed Sterilization Devil. Everyone in the entire world is cognitively affected by the lead gas that DuPont made. DuPont. Look up C8 water contamination in Ohio. Every person on the planet has been contaminated with it. DuPont. The hedge funds that own the companies. Maya also no seriously. British East India Company from a historical perspective. Monsanto is the worst. Pfizer, Nestle, Luxottica, Facebook, Coca-Cola, Hollywood. Balenciaga, for promoting pedophilia. Anything to do with Rupert Murdoch. The Weinstein Company, or should I say that pervert company. Nestle, after that prick said water isn't a human right. To call him a see you next Tuesday would give see you next Tuesdays a bad name. Monsanto. Cable companies. Horrific service. Horrific customer service. One of my friends was almost fired cause he gave a customer a credit SMH. They are terrible. Wish more areas had fiber internet. Does the US government count as a company? They are pretty sketchy. Gazprom, but I would say it's governmental. Basically, any in the top 10 of the companies at any given moment of time. Nestle. And it's a shame, but my Opa was the vice director of Nestle Mexico. He helps Nestle to build its business in the 60s in Mexico. Monsanto was, but they were bought out by Bayer. Nestle. 100. Walmart. They'd fuck their own mother for $1. Nestle. Monsanto. Cigarettes. Monsanto. Take your pick of the pharmaceutical companies. BlackRock. I had to scroll too much and didn't see this one. Nestle and BP are the popular choices because they've been outed, but most people are completely oblivious to the sheer amount of assets and power this company and others like it hold. Do some digging. BlackRock is to blame for a lot of the issues we suffer. Monsanto. They copyright the genes of single-season Terminator crops. Those crops cross-pollinate with veg from neighboring farms, which terminates those plants prematurely, and then Monsanto sues them for growing crops with their copyrighted genes. Nestle. Trump Enterprises. And no, this isn't about the pompous jackass's time in office. It's about how he runs businesses. Like how he screws over small business construction companies by agreeing to the price, then only paying around $5.10, saying, take it or sue me. I can afford to keep you in court for a while, can you? And they have to either go bankrupt trying to get paid or accept the payment. It's how he refused to rent to black people in his apartments. It's how he committed fraud for his university. BlackRock. Cigarette manufacturers. Tobacco and e-cigarette companies. All of them. Any pharma company. Addiction and life-saving driven profits. Fuck all of them. Nestle needs to be the top 5 comments on this thread. Nestle. To me it's really hard to see war manufacturers as not the most evil, as their intention is to design deadly weapons for humans to use on each other. But close runners-up? Dishonest governance, health insurance, big pharma, and big agriculture. Monsanto. The church. Reddit, it's a giant social engineering project. The United States government. Amazon. The company is even run by real-life Dr. Evil. In the US, they were all small, family-owned restaurants. They usually treat people in the family poorly, and people out of the family even worse. Normally they have young kids who work for no pay, and you're supposed to think it's so cute. Apple.